Of the Camarillo Sanitary District Board of Directors to order, and ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Director Kildee.
Here.
Director Little.
Here.
Director Morgan.
Here.
Secretary McDonald.
Here.
Chairman Craven.
Here. Mr. Kildee, would you lead us in the pledge to the flag, please?
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any amendments to this agenda?
There are no amendments.
Public comments. I don't have any cards. Is there anybody who'd like to speak to the Camarillo Sanitary District Board of Directors? Seeing nobody come forward, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Oh, public comments. I just asked about public comments. Consent calendar.
Move consent calendar.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. There are no departmental items, no legal items, comments from staff,
I don't have any. Tom, do you have any? Okay.
comments from the attorney, comments from board members. This meeting's adjourned. It's got to be a record.
All right, I'd like to call the Camarillo Successor Agency special meeting for October 22nd to order, please. And let the record reflect that all the directors are present. Amendments to the agenda? Amendments for this one?
No amendments.
No amendments for the agenda. Public comments for this one, for the successor agency. I don't have any cards. Okay. We'll move down to item 3. It's the consent calendar.
Move the approval.
Second. It's a motion to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote. That passes 5-0. Okay, departmental comments from staff?
I don't have any. Ronnie, do you have any comments?
Comments from the board members?
No comments.
No comments. We stand adjourned. All right. This time I'd like to call the regular city council meeting for Wednesday, October 22nd to order, please. A very momentous day indeed. Let the record reflect that all the council members are present. Are there any amendments to the agenda at this time?
I do have one, Mr. Mayor and council members. On your consent, item F, Efferson Frank, if we could move that to Public Works.
To Public Works?
Yes. And those,
And how about E? I would like to know more about E.
okay, we
About
can,
E and F.
E and F, both to Public Works.
On Public Works as well?
Yes.
So item E and F. Anything else? All right, public comments. I do have some blue cards, so I'm going to ask you to come up to the podium after I call your name. I'm going to turn the microphone on, and the first is Joseph Bruglio. I'm sorry. How do you pronounce that again?
It's Briglio.
Briglio, just like it's spelled, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, and if you could speak into the microphone, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Joseph Briglio, and I'm with the Southern California Association of Governments. I'm actually the new Regional Affairs Officer for Ventura County. I've met Councilmember McDonald. Look forward to working with you in VCOG. I'm here tonight to basically jump in front of everyone else, I guess, in presentations. I ran down to Los Angeles earlier today in order to make sure that SCAG, as it's commonly referred to, was able to give you a proclamation in honor of your 50 years of history. So that's what I'd like to do now. I won't be able to be here at 7:30 and be part of all the other presentations.
So come on up to the...
Sure.
All right.
It's official. It's free.
We don't do that.
We're going to have to get a new wall.
So on behalf of our president, Carl Morehouse, and our executive director, Hassan Ikrata. We'd like to congratulate you on 50 years, and we wish you happy birthday, essentially. And this is our proclamation to the mayor and to the rest of the council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Before you leave, let me give you this. Everybody needs a City of Camarillo pin here.
Who's even going to put it on him?
Did you see Jill?
Oh, she hasn't done her ears.
Absolutely. Every meeting that comes to Camarillo. It's my favorite city.
And we're going to check on that when you come again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. I have to get another wall to
Really?
place all these here. Okay, next I have Bernie Barnes. Is Bernie here?
There he is.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, ladies and gentlemen of the council and all concerned citizens. For celebrating the 50th year, I have two presentations. One is a book recently published, and I'll read the dedication for you. To the city of Camarillo, California, its artists and citizens who appreciate all genres of art, visual, oral, and written, or performed word, especially poetry, and to all supporters and officers who foster the art community and the city's emotional and spiritual side. This book is presented to the council and the citizens of Camarillo, and also the City Hall Library, if there is one. This presentation goes to the council's care. I will read the proclamation. It's a personal proclamation. By the way, my name is Bernie Barnes, and I represent myself and the Ventura County Writers Club, which has been around for 80 years in Ventura County. Camarillo, embraced in arms of hill and mountain, bathed in soft breezes of the ocean, celebrates mark of half-century incorporation of our city. For a majestic sweep of 50 years, amidst accomplished growth and joyous tears, a city made to give citizens safe homes and prosperous life visions. Camarillo instills us with grateful, thankful heart to honor past leaders for their part and sacrifice for cityhood goal, city promises, rich and full. Its past 50 years give sure picture of grand and magnificent future as we see more successes unfold and commemorate these years of gold. Camarillo, sweep all of us with appreciation of this great city of our nation. For 50 years service, we salute, celebrating in joyous tribute. This is also presented.
That's very nice.
Thank you very much, Bernie. What a momentous occasion this is. This is just terrific. What a talent. We really, really appreciate it. And
Mayor has a
amazing.
copy of my book, too.
I have a copy of your book.
Right.
Too, and I encourage everybody to get it. Thank you so much for this, Bernie. I really appreciate it. Any comments from council member before you go, Bernie, or thing?
Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie. Appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank you very much, Bernie.
I'd just like to say that proclamation said a lot of things that I think a lot of people in this city believe in, and that is we live in one of the greatest cities in not only California but the state of the United States.
Exactly.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
You're a great outdoor spokesman for the city.
Did you give him his pen?
Oh, Bernie, I got to give you a pen. I'm sorry.
He's got one.
You got one? Okay, good.
He's got one already.
One step ahead of me.
I gave it to him.
Okay. All right, next we have Matt Lorimer. Matt's here. Okay.
Good evening, Matt Lorimer. You know, last city council meeting, I think it's important. We're celebrating 50 years. We also should respect citizens that come up and speak, whether they're right or wrong, whatever views they have a right to. So let me read something. It's California Civil Code. The people of the state do not yield their sovereignty to the agencies which serve them. The people in the delegating authority do not give their public servants the right to decide what is good for the people to know and what is not good for them to know. The people insist on remaining informed so they may retain control of their instruments they have created. You know, during the debate, the Yolanda Kearney case came up and the city was sued. After doing research on it, you know, it's an issue and nobody should not be allowed to talk about it. You guys don't want to talk about it, that's your right. So let me talk about solutions. You haven't had an employee survey in 3 years. So one of the solutions is you need to have an employee survey. It should be independent and let them come here and speak whatever the issues are. The next thing is you need a 1-800 number so people feel there's problems and they work for the city. They should be able to express them without fear. You know, it's important that you get all different views. If you're at home or in the audience, it doesn't matter if you're right, left, Republican, Democrat, Independent. It doesn't matter who you are in this country. You have a right to come to the city council. You know, several people say, oh, I've been coming here for 6 years. I represent people at the Lamplighter Mobile Home Park. I've also wanted to make the city a greater city. And this city is a great city. The people have built the city throughout the years. And you know something? Without the people are the city. You know, you look around the city and we have something really great about it. You know, when you go to a large city, people don't know anybody. You go there and everybody's busy. There's not that camaraderie. Here, you go around town, no matter where you're at, people know who you are. It is a great city. Camarillo is halfway to LA, halfway to Ventura. It is the heartbeat of Ventura County. We have the university that's going to educate the people of the future. And hopefully we work with that to attract some of those businesses so they stay in this country. Because exporting jobs overseas is not the right thing to do. We currently export a lot of agriculture, which is good. But I look forward to the future for this city. It is a great city. And the people have made a big difference. And whoever you've done in your future or in your past, you made this city. No matter if you swept floors, if you're an attorney, whatever you've done, you've made a difference, and that's important. And together tonight, we celebrate the city. So to the people at home, thank you. To the council, thank you. It is a great city. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, next I have Lori McVicker. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Lori McVicker. I'm here to speak to you tonight about the CUNY complaint filed against the city of Camarillo and Bruce Fang. CUNY's complaint is a court document, a public record. In the complaint, CUNY cites the harassment and abuse she endured working right here at City Hall. CUNY's complaint bared her soul. It also mentions other instances of employee harassment, such as when in November of 2010, an employee that had worked here for over 25 years left in tears, never to return. CUNY's complaint is a window into the reality of employees working here at City Hall. CUNY's settlement agreement is also a public record. It's the city that wanted to keep it a secret. She has been paid close to $500,000. The size of the settlement seems to validate her harassment claims. We're already starting to hear the excuse that some of this has been paid by insurance. But everyone knows that when you file insurance claims, premiums go up. I've asked the city how many employees have been put on administrative leave. The city won't tell me, claiming it's a personnel matter. How can a number, 3, 5, 9, be a personnel matter? CUNY herself is still on administrative leave. Yet another city employee was put on administrative leave just this month. We don't know how many settlements have occurred or the total amount spent on them. Money has been moved around like a shell game to cover up this mess. The confidentiality clause that the City Council agreed to in the CUNY settlement stipulates that the city must produce the settlement agreement, but only when requested. There is also a stipulation that the City Council there will be no elaborations, discussions, or disclosures. So we'll never know what the City Council was thinking. It seems a lot of effort has gone into keeping this settlement hidden from the public. Meanwhile, the City Council has added the financial burden of local businesses by increasing their fees. Council Member Craven, at the time you were mayor and you signed off on this settlement agreement, with your years of experience, how could you think that keeping this settlement a secret was in the best interest of Camarillo residents? I don't know if you fully realize the gravity of the situation. $500,000 have been spent, and yet you gave yourselves a raise and your city manager. At the same time, increasing city fees to businesses in town. The City Council met 10 times in closed session over this settlement, yet you never came out of closed session and said you reached a settlement, as required by the Brown Act. Because of the alleged CUNY Brown Act violations mentioned in her complaint and possible Brown Act violations surrounding the CUNY settlement, I've been in contact with the Public Integrity Unit of the District Attorney's Office. By your action to keep
Lori,
this
if you
secret...
could wrap it up. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep everybody
Sure.
at 3 minutes, please.
Clearly, council members have failed to faithfully fulfill their duties as representatives of the city residents. Shame on all of you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, next we've got Janet Kildee. This ought to be good, my wife. Okay. If you could just speak into the microphone, that'd be great. Ah, my family's there. Okay, I know what this means.
Good evening, council, staff. My name's Janet Kildee. This is my daughter, Madeline, my sister-in-law, Chris Kildee. We're all residents of the city of Camarillo, obviously. We wanted to take a moment to thank the current city council and the city staff for an incredible 50th anniversary tribute to the city of Camarillo. The formal dinner last Friday evening in the beautiful facility at Padre Serra was a magical event. It was so nice to see local talent provide the entertainment. The words expressed by the mayor and other city dignitaries were heartfelt and touching. The activities on Saturday at the park were enjoyed by all Camarillo citizens who attended. And finally, the reception tonight will be one last chance for the city to yet again be honored. It's only through the love, devotion, and dedication of our current City Council and staff that Camarillo has truly celebrated its 50 years. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication. And if any of you are curious, my husband did not know I was going to speak tonight, so surprise. And here's to another 50 years. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I don't have any more blue slips. Would anybody else like to come and have any public comments? Okay. With that, we'll go down to item 4, and that's actually the consent calendar.
Move the approval with the exception of items E and F, which have been moved to Public Works.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote. That passes unanimously. Okay, that gets us down to Public Works. Why don't we take item E first? Want to do that? Staff? No.
Yes, Your Honor, and actually I'm going to make some comments that relate to both of the items, so I'll focus on item E, and then as we get to the next item I won't repeat all that because I think most of it will be pretty well understood at that point. Both of these items, just to clarify, may look like you're reviewing a land development project to decide whether to approve the land development or not. That's not the case. So with item E, which is CPD 244, that's a commercial plan development project that's already been approved. It's already entitled. And what happens when a project gets entitled is we want to ensure that when it has to construct public improvements, that those improvements are built in a way that's safe and effective for the community. So there's conditions placed on the project, and those conditions require that a certified or an expert, an engineer in that particular discipline, prepare the plans, and they be reviewed and then ultimately brought forward for the city to consider and ultimately have you as a board approve those plans. So that's what's before you tonight, and this, just for some background, again, is a commercial project up at the Camarillo Village Square that's on the corner of Arneal and Las Posas Road. There's currently, it used to be a service station there, now it's a vacant site. So what is before you tonight is to consider a set of plans that have been designed under supervision of city staff by an expert engineer. One of the protections that's afforded a city, and that's why this step tonight is important, is called design immunity. So what that requires is that a reasonable set of plans are prepared. That way in the future, if the city, sometimes there's claims brought against the city making accusations that there's an unsafe condition, and we refer back to the plans to show that it was designed and built per standard. And one of the requirements of that process is to then have the plans approved by the governing body, which is why we're here tonight. So this is really a step that ensures that we've got all of the ducks in a row, the project's ready to go forward and construct improvements as per standard, so that everything again is safe and effective for the community. And again, by your approval, that would help ensure that with design immunity that we followed all the steps. And we do recommend all of your support. If, for example, somebody were to vote against this, that would imply that perhaps there's something that's not quite right or ready yet in the plans. And if that were a concern, then we would request that you advise us of what your concerns are, and we would go back and remedy that. I think it's important for the design immunity message to have the board provide a united and unanimous vote to approve the plan. So the item before you, the first one is again CPD 244, and we are recommending approval of the plans. If you do so, then the project would proceed to construction of the public improvements in the next few months.
Any questions? Mr. Little had his question.
Yeah, I'm looking at the sketch map on the back of the report, and it shows the site itself, but it does show looks like two separate lots there. Is that one underneath the heavy black line, and is there a reason for that, or is that something that's just part of the plat?
The project is on one property. However, as they complete some of their improvements, they will extend beyond the property limits. So, for example, they'll be working in Las Posas Road to connect, I believe, a sewer or water line. They will also be paving some of the drive aisles in the shopping center adjacent to the property are common to the site, as well as other parts of the shopping center. And so as they pave the parking lot of the new project, they'll also have to blend that into the drive aisles of the shopping center. So some of the improvements will extend beyond the property. And this was intended to be a vicinity map to kind of illustrate generally where the project improvements will occur.
So the new improvements, the new buildings and so forth, will be on the site of the gas station only?
Correct.
Not extended over into the drive aisle that's behind it or anything on either side of it?
That is correct.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Your Honor, just one.
Mr. Morgan?
We've been talking about project, but you might want the public to know kind of what this project is, what's going in that project.
Yeah, and I may look for some backup from the planning department on those details. In general, it's a inline commercial building that is similar to the shopping center, other buildings where there's one building but several tenant spaces, similar type of building that would have, I believe, 4 tenant spaces.
The primary tenant or named tenant in this development is Starbucks, it would be a drive-through Starbucks, the first in the city.
So they'll be moving their other Starbucks up here to the front.
That I can't answer.
You would assume.
I just know that it's going to be a Starbucks.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? It's the will of the council.
Move the approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Please vote. All right, that passes unanimously. All right, that gets us down to item F on the consent calendar. Do we have, Tom, do you want to take that?
Yes, Your Honor, and again, I'll keep my comments more brief on this one instead of repeat, but the concept's essentially the same. It's a land development that has already been entitled, and because of the conditions on that development, they had to prepare a set of plans that are before you tonight to consider approval. This is a project, it's a tract that's located out in the Springville specific plan area. It's the property that we've referred to over time as the Laurel property, which is the just west of the Amley apartment complex that's under construction now. The Laurel was the property owner that received the entitlement. They are now transferring the property to Comstock, which has named it the project Ellicora, and that's the title that's on this particular item. This is, again, plans have been prepared and reviewed by staff, and we feel they're suitable for the public improvements to be safe and effective, and we do recommend your support in approving the plans.
Any questions, Mr. Morgan?
Part of this project that was approved is a 5-acre park. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So a 5-acre park will be within this approved project. Thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. McDonald?
I just have a comment. I know Mr. Fox talked about the fact of what step this is in the process, and I'll be voting no on this item, not because you haven't done a complete set of plans appropriate for the decision that was made, but because I have consistently not been in favor of the project itself. So it's not because staff hasn't done the complete set of plans. And that needs to be reflected so that it doesn't cause problems in the future.
Any other comments from anybody? What's the will?
Your Honor, I have a question.
This is Mr. Morgan.
If 3 of us voted no on this, could the city not be sued since they were given entitlement?
Always sue.
Is that a question for me?
Yes, it looks like it.
Well, in order for them to complete their project, they would need to be completing these improvements. So if the council didn't allow them to complete the improvements, then I'm not sure if that's going to give rise to litigation, and I certainly wouldn't be giving that advice in a meeting of the council.
Any other questions?
Move the approval.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote. That passes 4-1 with Mrs. McDonald opposing. Okay, that gets us down to new business. Okay. Mr. City Manager, any new business for us tonight?
I have a little bit of new business. I just wanted to make a few comments, if that would be okay. And my comments were relative to our birthday. We're all, anyone that's over 50 has gotten younger today, right? So happy birthday to all. On behalf of all of this Camarillo City employees and myself, I wanted to wish Camarillo, the community, a happy 50th. And I had prepared some comments, and then lo and behold, in the Star newspaper this morning, there was an editorial that was better written than I could have ever imagined. So for those who have read this article, if you could bear with me, and those who have not, I'd like to read this. And actually, those who have read it, I imagine you won't mind hearing it again. So it's just, I think it's a wonderful article. The title is Camarillo at 50. The city of Camarillo and all its residents have great reason to celebrate. Exactly 50 years ago, on October 22nd, 1964, the city of Camarillo was officially established, less than a month after a landslide vote in favor of creating a city. The Star extends our congratulations to the city of Camarillo and its residents, leaders, workers, and employers who together helped to make it a superior community. We feel certain those who voted for incorporation a half-century ago, when the community had about 10,000 residents, would be pleased at what Camarillo has grown into, a safe, attractive, and economically dynamic city of more than 66,000 residents, and widely recognized as an excellent place to live, work, and visit, including some notable shopping opportunities. This was not achieved on autopilot. The city's history is complete with the moments of enormous difficulty, including municipal financial challenges that were successfully overcome through leadership and discipline. Camarillo can look proudly at what has been accomplished through a balanced vision of economic development and responsible land use policies in conjunction with a healthy respect for the region's agriculture and rural traditions. And if the results of the next 50 years are as impressive as the first 50, we can hardly wait to see them. And that ends my comments. How appropriate. Happy 50th.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Mr. City Attorney, anything tonight?
Yes, I'll just mention that Burke, Williams, and Sorensen was here in 1964 to help this city incorporate. Bill Sorensen was a named partner in the firm, formed the firm back in the 1950s. And I was just speaking with Mayor Emeritus Stan Daly before the meeting tonight about Bill Sorensen. I worked with Mr. Sorensen on a number of matters. Burke Williams has been your city attorney for the last 50 years. And I'm sure Bill would appreciate me extending to the council our appreciation for that opportunity and to wish you all and the city a happy birthday.
Thank you very much for your comments. All right, City Council. Let's start with Mr. Morgan. Do you want to start tonight, Mike?
I mean, comments are what we went to this past 2 weeks. Comments. You know, I've been here, as I said, I've been here too long, but I doubt it. 34 years I've been a city councilman. I've seen this town grow a lot. I've seen it grow into a great city. We have everything that we're polishing it up right now. That's what we're doing because it's almost over. When I say polishing it up, we've got things coming that will benefit the elderly as well as the young people. We talk about ice skating rinks and things like that. It makes us look good. We've provided a firm financial background for everyone to rely on in the future. So our city is independent, self-sufficient, and we're not lacking as some cities are when they don't have, like, Port Hueneme doesn't have our kind of background that can help support itself and do it well. A lot of cities can't accomplish that kind of thing, but we have. Every council member that's even here tonight or been here before has contributed to making this city the way it is today. And I think, as I said in these different debates, we were in the top 25 cities. We're rated number 25 out of 1,700 to best places to live. That wasn't accomplished by, it was accomplished by work and staff. We have some of the best staff now that I can think of in this whole state. And without that kind of an influence and advice, and that's what you get. That's what makes us in such a good situation that we're in today. Our staff. And I want to say thank you to all staff now and before. And thank you, Mr. Daly, and the others who helped make this place the way it is. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Little?
Well, first of all, I was reminiscing when this was being talked about when 50 years ago I was an assistant city manager in the city of Toledo, Ohio, never having any idea that I would end up in Camarillo, California, and just trying to get through one election after another there. So it was an interesting experience. But I do recall that 10 years before that, I came through this place before it was ever a city as a result of a trip I took with 3 graduates of my high school class, and we graduated in the middle of Kansas and came out just to see the ocean. And we finally did when we got to Ventura. But I remember driving through, and there wasn't any freeway. It was you went down what is Ventura Boulevard, Old Town, and frankly, I don't remember much about it. It was not a very big place. I remember that. So I had some early contact with this city, and but the best fortune I ever had was to be selected city manager in the city back in 1988. And while it took a hard work for 3 years to get us back on track financially, I think we've achieved that and more. And I'm just so proud to be a member of the City Council. We work well together, and we have a shared vision of what Camarillo is and should be and will be. So I just want to again say I'm certainly glad to be here for the 50th anniversary, and look forward to many more. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Craven?
Yeah, I'm going to make my comments later on the other part of the meeting, and I didn't attend any meetings that we have to report, apparently. I do want to say that I attended the ribbon cutting this morning for the adult daycare center at the Camarillo Healthcare District, and I think they have an absolutely wonderful facility that's going to bring a lot of attention to Camarillo because of all the leading edge technology that they have there.
Okay. Mrs. McDonald?
Great, thank you. Well, I will start by the meetings that we do need to announce. And during the 2 weeks since we've been here together, we have had a VCOG meeting, very interesting as they have. We've talked about the homeless issue, talked about a little bit of the realignment and its effect on our sheriff's department and our county jails, et cetera. So it was a very interesting meeting. Also this morning did attend the healthcare district ribbon cutting, and you are absolutely right. They are ahead of what a lot of communities should be doing with helping. And what do they call senior citizens? Older
Americans.
No.
Older adults.
Older adults. That's the new term. So you're not senior citizens. You're older adults. So I kind of like that as I get closer to all of that. Anyway, so those are the meetings. We do have on the evening's agenda our comments, official comments regarding the 50th anniversary, but I just want to take a moment to thank our staff and our committee who worked on the 50th anniversary celebration. It's been a long year for a lot of you, and because you have been planning it a year, and you've done a great job. I've seen some staff members really go above and beyond, and I want to make sure they know how much we do appreciate it, because we do have wonderful staff members here in the city. We do appreciate them, and I know they know that because we tell them that all the time. But they have gone above and beyond to make sure the city of Camarillo had a great anniversary celebration, and we really do thank you for that. We took a tour this afternoon with some of our former dignitaries and members of the public. And as we drove that bus around town, you actually get a different view from when you're on the bus than you do in your car. You sit up a little higher and you can see things you don't see all the time. And it was amazing how great our city looks. And we heard nothing but positive comments from people who haven't been here in a number of years to how great the city looks. And even with the lack of water, we'd love some rain that would probably make the landscape look even better. But they paid their compliments to the city staff for keeping the city looking as great as it does, and for everyone who's worked so hard to make it a great success. So that'll be the beginning of my later comments, but thank you.
Thank you. Mike, do you want to announce any meetings that you attended?
Yeah, I do. That's what I was asking. Do you want me to do the announcements or meetings? I didn't give anything, so I thought off and running. I'll announce some more later, too, by the way. That gives me a second shot at it. Gala, I won't go after the gala again because that was fantastic. We didn't have to have 400 in there. 250 or whatever it was enough because everyone's around visiting. It was a fun time for everyone. We had a healthcare ribbon cutting this afternoon, and that was well attended. And the facilities they have there are amazing, with the new additions and things for the elderly. One thing I've got to buy, they've got these new lenses you put on and earphones, and you can look around behind you, in front of you, everywhere you're going. And they'll have little trips like going to the Grand Canyon, and you're like walking through the air because you can look behind you, down below, everywhere. It's a fun thing that the people there are going to enjoy that a lot because there's a lot more things to look at just besides the Grand Canyon. I went to a Court of Honor ceremony because normally we go to the Eagle Scout Awards. Well, I haven't been to a Court of Honor ceremony in a long, long time, since I was a kid, but this one was amazing. Methodist Church put on one, and we had locked me. I was locked out of City Hall, so I couldn't get the proclamations for the 2 boys that got them last here recently. So I took them there, and just had a great time because there's so many things going on with the Order of the Arrow and all the other things. But it was a lot of fun. Dr. Potts, I don't know how many of you know Dr. Potts. He's a dentist. Well, he held a dentistry from the heart this past week. And anyone that needed dentistry done, he had several doctors there to do it, and that couldn't afford it, went in and they did it free. And I'd like to congratulate Dr. Potts for what he did. And so that was, again, something that I think our community is a community like that. We try to help each other, help the community, and I think Dr. Potts should be congratulated, Mr. Kildee, for doing what he did. That's it.
Very well. Mr. Little, do you have any meetings
Sure.
you'd like to?
Just a couple. I did also attend the Healthcare District grand opening of the adult daycare center, and I think it will be. They have a lot of new technology that's going to be of, I think, value to those people. I attended the Economic Development Commission of Ventura County. That process, that whole organization is really making some real great strides in providing loans and advice to fledgling businesses or to startups and actually to some that are been around for a while but need some help. And also attended this past Monday along with Councilmember McDonald. We attended the investment committee of the city and report that everything is in good shape.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Kevin, can I add one more
Sure,
thing I forgot?
absolutely.
I'd like to thank Charlotte. She was on the committee with me for this gala. It took many, many meetings to put this thing together with staff. And so I think that I appreciate all the effort that you put in along with myself and others. So thank you, Charlotte.
Okay, thank you. I did attend a VRSD meeting. I attended with all the other council members the adult daycare ribbon cutting, which is really great. What a great service that we have for Camarillo. And my comments were there that not every city has a facility like that, and we're very, very blessed to have that. A week before that, I also gave a certificate of recognition to 2 recipients for, I believe they call it the Wall of Fame at the Healthcare District. So that was a real thrill, among other things. So we have a lot of fun, hopefully, in store for the rest of the evening. So with that, we will recess again at this particular point until 7:30. Thank you all. By the Boy Scout Troop 257, and they will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise for the colors. Assembly, attention! Color guard, advance. All those in uniform salute. All others right hand over heart. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Color guard, post the colors. Color guard, regroup. Color guard, retreat. Color guard, dismissed. Assembly at ease.
Thank you very much, Troop 257. We really appreciate that. Let's give them a round of applause. Well, good evening on this very momentous occasion here tonight. I want to thank all of you for joining us here as we celebrate the city of Camarillo's 50 years of cityhood. If you would allow me to maybe kind of take a deep breath and let's take a trip back in time a little bit, if you may. Exactly 50 years ago today, October 22nd, 1964, the Secretary of State certified the city of Camarillo's incorporation. That same evening, the Camarillo City Council held its first meeting in the Pleasant Valley School auditorium. Our city was officially born. The original incorporation committee comprised of George Longo, Betty Orr, A.W. Bill Fuller, who sold insurance here in Camarillo, Bill and Mary Parker, who owned a restaurant, Janet Daw, Edith Camarillo Rouse, Robert Cribb, who owned the Camarillo Daily News, and Max Grant, who was the distributor of the Los Angeles Times. The first city council in 1964 consisted of Mayor Earl Joseph, who owned a shoe store in our city, Vice Mayor Stan Daly, Ned Chatfield, who was a fireman, Guy Turner, Edith Tweedy Rouse. And like I've always said, today we stand on the shoulders of giants. That first council were absolutely trailblazers. I just want to talk just very briefly about my friend, the Mayor Earl Joseph. He had a shoe store in Camarillo, and he had a dog named Tina. And he trained Tina that when you went in and bought a pair of shoes, he always wanted to measure your foot. So you would take your shoe off. Tina would smell your sock and roll over as if she passed out. And Earl got the biggest kick out of that. That's what Camarillo was then, and it still is today. In 1964, Camarillo's population was about 11,000. Today, the city's population is over 65,000. In order to run the day-to-day operations of a city, the council contracted a city manager and city attorney, and the firm is still with us today. There are over 140 employees today. Back in those days, the city comprised of just 5.5 square miles. Now, it encompasses just under 20 square miles. The year of incorporation, the city budget was about $144,000. Today, it's $126.1 million. Nevertheless, with a tight budget, the new city council was poised to prepare plans for better fire protection and police protection, and also enhancing the community through local infrastructure, planning, and development services, a concept that we continue today, and we will for the next 50 years. In the 1960s, many of the home buyers in Camarillo were farmers, teachers, and military veterans who were stationed at bases nearby. Newer residents were just starting to raise their families and were looking for a new and a safe community with good schools and parks. The business community basically consisted of stores on Ventura Boulevard. They were a very small, close-knit group. My father had a men's clothing store. And let me take you back on time, a couple of funny stories about that. We had a rather infamous institution on the boulevard. It was actually a bar called the Buckhorn. And one man came into my dad's store with these wallets that they were selling at the Buckhorn for $5. Now, keep in mind, in those days, a good leather wallet would cost about $15. So he went up to my dad and said, Bob, they're selling these beautiful leather wallets at the Buckhorn for $5. What do you think? And my dad took it and looked at it and said, well, it's a really nice wallet, but it's made out of cardboard. And the man grabbed it back and said, well, Bob, what do you expect for $5? But so as we've matured as a city, we have retained our agriculture uses, we've improved our streets, increased our fire protection, and we have a state-of-the-art Camarillo Public Library. I'm extremely proud to say that Camarillo enjoys a reputation as a preferred location for families to live because it is run and is consistently ranked among the safest communities in California. As many of you know, I was raised in Camarillo, and our family has had a business here for 60 years this year as well. I've had the great pleasure of seeing our community evolve to a beautiful, well-maintained city that many of us here tonight proudly call home, a place where people can come together and live, work, and play. In the 1960s, most of the boys in town played some kind of sport. While growing up in Camarillo, I really enjoyed baseball. And as council members past and present know, in government, we have to be ready to deal with anything that life throws us, especially when we're least expecting it, and be able to adapt quickly. Since 1964, our team has been highly successful. We have endured emergency incidents, tough economic times, budget hardships, and as we know, we are currently in the midst of a drought. Most often, we have been very successful in overcoming any of these type of challenges. Well, how did we do it? We did it with the supportive community, effective city councils, persistence, a strong staff support, and a commitment to face obstacles and challenges head-on. Camarillo has proven year after year that our team of residents and businesses will continue to perform well. We are very, very lucky to have forged great relationships over the past 50 years with all governmental agencies, including the County of Ventura, other cities, local schools, and special districts, as well as our residents and a strong business community. Our motto of the city, "The people are the city," certainly holds true. We are all very proud of our residents. They are truly the unsung heroes tonight. They have such a high level of participation and volunteering in community-wide events. They are a terrific asset to our community. As good as our 50 years has been, we will work together to make the next 50 years even better. Let me tell you something. Camarillo's best years are yet to come. Now I ask you, not many cities can a pant salesman become mayor of a city. What do you know about that? I want to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. You are terrific, terrific people. And now I'm going to invite the individuals who are making presentations up to the stage to my right, and I'll ask them after they do their presentation if they would return to their seats. If all of the presenters would please stay until the end of the meeting, I will invite the entire group up to the dais for a group photo. Okay. First is Patty Kuros. Patty, are you here tonight? And she represents Senator Hannah Beth Jackson. this here. Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. Senator Jackson unfortunately couldn't be here this evening, but she's truly honored to have been invited. As we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the city of Camarillo, listening to the mayor, it's truly a pleasure to be here tonight. It's such a great city, full of partnerships and such a rich history. So we'd like to present this resolution, and it's actually on behalf of Assemblymember Jeff Corral as well. Whereas the city of Camarillo is observing the 50th anniversary of its incorporation October 22nd, 2014, and in recognition of its progress and growth throughout the years, it is appropriate to extend to local residents the heartiest congratulations of the people of the state of California. And whereas resolved by Senator Hannah Beth Jackson and Assemblymember Jeff Corral that they congratulate the people of the city of Camarillo as they celebrate the 50th anniversary of its incorporation. Congratulations to you all.
Are you here? Let me give you this. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, next we have Jason Barnes for field representative for Congressman Julia Brownley. Is Jason's here? Okay.
Good evening. Congresswoman Julia Brownley sends her regards. She wishes she could be here to celebrate this great occasion with all of you. Mayor Kildee and City Council members, it is a true honor to be here with you this evening on behalf of Congresswoman Brownley as we come together to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the City of Camarillo. This is an extraordinary milestone for both the City of Camarillo and its outstanding residents. We'd also like to recognize and extend our sincere gratitude to the city's administration and staff for their dedication and the hard work they have done and continue to do to make Camarillo such a thriving and prosperous community. In recognition of the city's 50th anniversary, I would like to present to the City Council a copy of the statement that will be entered into the congressional record in commemoration of this monumental occasion. Again, on behalf of Congresswoman Brownley, congratulations and thank you for your continued service to this community.
Next, we have Supervisor Kathy Long. Supervisor Long is here.
We could. Actually, they're pretty cool.
Mr. Mayor, council members, city manager, good to be here with you, all of you who have joined this evening. This is a wonderful opportunity to recognize what a great city we all live in and how much we treasure it. I had the pleasure just 2 weeks ago to hold our Board of Supervisors meeting here and had an opportunity at that time to present a resolution to the mayor on behalf of the entire Board of Supervisors. And so this is just a little deja vu. He dusted it off and gave it back to me. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. And talk about on the shoulders of giants, that is so true. I moved into the city just 2 years ahead of the 25th anniversary and recall the great party that took place on that celebration and thought, what a great city I've moved into, and these people are wonderful, and what a warm, embracing community, and it still absolutely is. I had the opportunity to know Ned Chatfield and certainly many of the folks who are here in the room tonight who are now judges and moved on to other activities and some retired council members, and it remains a great city because it is all about the people in the community back who, if you ask them to do something, they step right up to do it. You're all fully engaged in what makes this a special place to live. And I've had the pleasure of raising my family here, had a small business, and have enjoyed immensely working with the City Council on many things important to all of the county. in addition to certainly to benefit the city. The mayor's done an outstanding job in this year of bringing the celebrations forward, along with all of the council members, to recognize that this city is a very special place and it is all about the people. So I'll present this again, and I won't read the 50 whereases, okay? There you go.
Next, we have Sheriff Jeff Dean. Sheriff's here. There he is.
He's tired.
Very nimble.
Even with a gun, people give you grief. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Mr. Fang, what a pleasure to be here. Sheriff's Office has been honored to serve this city since its inception, and we consider it a privilege and an honor. There might be other choices out there. We don't think there's any good ones, but it is a pleasure. I'm a resident. My wife was raised here in Camarillo. It's a wonderful place to live. The councils from the beginning all the way up to your council is incredibly supportive of public safety and I'll say it's the number one priority to keep the residents of this community feeling safe. They are safe and feeling good, be able to walk around their neighborhoods, being out there and take walks late in the evening and feel good. And it's because of the support, the public support and the financial support to do what's right to make this a great place to live. So it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to present you with this little token. I notice the city of Simi Valley has a really big one. We're trying to keep our contract rates down for you. So we went small. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Sheriff. Appreciate it. Next, we have Todd McNamee. Todd is here. There's Todd. Call. Okay, Todd, here you go.
Thank you, Mayor. So it seems like we've been celebrating with you for some time because the mayor actually was our grand marshal at the air show this year, and we are honored to have you serve in that role for us. And so I just want to say congratulations. You know, the city really is a great partner with the County Department of Airports and the Camarillo Airport, and so this is just a plaque sort of recognizing that. So County Ventura Department of Airports congratulates and thanks the City of Camarillo in recognition of the City of Camarillo celebrating its 50th anniversary. The City of Camarillo has been a true partner with the Camarillo Airport through compatible land use planning, support of the annual Camarillo Air Show, and partnering on public works projects that provide mutual benefit to the airport, the city, and the local community. It is with great pleasure that the Department of Airports congratulates the City of Camarillo on 50 wonderful years and thanks the city for the strong partnership. The Camarillo Airport wishes the City of Camarillo many more successful years. So thank you very much. All right, everybody's a winner tonight.
You bet. Thank you, Todd. Thank you very much, Todd. Next, we have Diane McCall from City of Fillmore. Is Diane? There's Diane.
I wondered how they got it all on one plaque.
Welcome.
Hello, good evening. I am Diane McCall. I'm City Council Member for City of Fillmore, and I'm here to present to you on behalf of the Mayor, the City Council, the City Manager, and the staff this proclamation commending and congratulating you guys on 50 wonderful years. We are so happy to have a city neighbor that we're all growing together and we're all like-minded, and this is just a fantastic community to live in. It's the best county in California, no doubt. And we're all so blessed, and we're so thankful to have you guys as a partner. Thank you for inviting us to be here. It's wonderful to be here on this occasion. So again, on behalf of City of Fillmore, congratulations. And in 50 more years, they're going to go quick. You'll catch up with us.
By the way, Your Honor, Kevin and I were able to go over to their 100th year anniversary here this past summer for Fillmore.
Next we have John Sharkey. John here? There's John. Okay. Mayor Report, Wainimi. Thank you, John. Good to see you, buddy.
Yes, I had the honor of serving as mayor during our 50th anniversary celebration back in '98. You know, cities have rivals and cities have friends, and I want to say that Camarillo's always been very supportive and a friend to the city of Port Hueneme, and I'm very, very proud to count all of you as my friends and colleagues. And I would really like to commend the City Council on its good judgment in hiring a UMass alumnus to be city manager. Hoorah, Yumi, we're a long way from Amherst. But personally, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to present this proclamation on behalf of the people of Port Hueneme to the people of Camarillo on your 50th anniversary. And I think Mike will be here for the next 50, but I won't.
Next we have Mayor Bob Huber. Bob is here. There's Bob.
It's indeed a privilege and a pleasure to be here on behalf of the City Council from the City of Simi Valley this evening. And if you don't mind, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you. Thank you. And I have a lot of admiration for Jeff Dean. We partner really well with the Sheriff's Department, so you're lucky to have the Sheriff's Department and leader like Jeff Dean amongst you. So I got to say the last word, Jeff. In any event, I have some deja vu here this evening because I go back to a relationship to your city, April 8th, 1980. You say, how does he remember that date? Because Mike Morgan got elected that day, and so did I. And Dorothy Marin, Mike Morgan, and I were all three elected on the same day. We all three got our council training at that time. So, and I've had a relationship with many of the members of the city council here, VCOG and the city selection committee and what have you. And I admire you all greatly. You're hard workers. It's kind of interesting. I'm going to read the resolution. It won't take but a moment. And it's going to be like deja vu. And you'll see when I read it. Because we did our homework, because we're so fond of your city. Whereas the city of Camarillo is celebrating its 50th anniversary of incorporation on October 22nd, 2014, and in recognition of its progress and growth through the years deserves special acknowledgement. And whereas on September 29th, 1964, 85% of the residents voted for the city's incorporation. And during this election, the people of Camarillo elected the city's first city council. Earl M. Joseph, Stanley J. Daly, Ned A. Chatfield, Guy M. Turner, and Edith Tweedy Rose. Whereas the city filed its incorporation papers with the Secretary of State on October 22nd, 1964, and the very same night the first city council convened in the Pleasant Valley School auditorium to begin the task of governing its 10,500 citizens in creating a city and the history to follow. Whereas the city of Camarillo comprised 5.2 square miles in 1964 and has increased to over 19 square miles today. The city of Camarillo has grown from a population of 10,600 at incorporation to over 66,000 residents today. And whereas, while the city of Camarillo offers its residents a sense of community with the feeling of a small town, it also provides diverse employment opportunities, shopping that is second to none, and a progressive and innovative city that blends cultures, ages, and interests and backgrounds. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Simi Valley that takes great pleasure in congratulating and commending the City of Camarillo and its citizens upon the 50th or golden anniversary of its incorporation, and applauds the city for outstanding contribution it has made to the history of California and to Ventura County. And congratulations on behalf of our City Council. And when you read what you read, and I said, man, he's taking away my whole resolution. But we did our homework because we really care about your city. We're very proud to be a sister city with the city of Camarillo, and congratulate all of you this evening and wish you the best from the City Council. This is signed by all 5 City Council members. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bob.
Pen.
Okay. Next, we got Mayor Cheryl Heitman from City of Ventura. Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Absolutely.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here, Mr. Mayor, City Council, on your 50th anniversary. We are the oldest city in the county, 150 years in 2016. So I came tonight to see how to celebrate because we're going to be doing this very soon. So I'm taking lessons. But seriously, we enjoy very much working with all of you. You're practically a neighbor. We think of you as a neighbor, working together in West County issues, and we really appreciate your city. You have many of our employees living here, as you know, so we feel like we have a real relationship with you that goes very deep, and really respect how you run your city and love to come shop. I was listening from Ventura, but I do love to come shopping. So, but don't tell anybody. That's a secret. Okay. Okay, I thought it was. Okay. And I just want to let your city manager know that we were recently at the League of Cities together, and we found the cheapest place to park in Los Angeles, the two of us. Everybody else was parking, at the rate, but we were conserving for our city, so, right? Yeah, okay. So we did good. Anyway, congratulations. It's a pleasure to be here, and good luck on the next 50 years.
Thank you, Cheryl. Let's get a look forward. We've got Rayanne Michael, Superintendent for the Pleasant Valley School District. There's Rayanne. Thank you, Rayanne. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members, staff, and all the community members tonight. It is truly my pleasure to congratulate you for your 50 years and your birthday tonight. And I'm so sorry that Simi Valley went before me because they stole most of the things that I've written here. But I will say that I'm so happy to be part of Camarillo and the city as a school district to honor you for the beautiful farmlands, the crops, our nice mixture of natural beauty and our civic assets, our residents that come and our visitors, our youth to our seniors. Our city of Camarillo has our beautiful library, our active community center, and the very best schools and climate. And the saying that says it takes a village is very evident throughout our community through the pride that's shown from the many citizens that are here tonight that live here. And we're also very proud and deeply vested in this community. And we thank you so much for the city. Thank you.
Yeah. Next, we have Bob Kelly, Board Chair of the Pleasant Valley Recreation and Park District. Bob, there's Bob. Oh, good. We've got board members. Terrific. All right. I love it. We're a team. Absolutely. Come on up. I would hope not.
We love partying.
Go, Bob. Thank you.
Thanks. You know, I welcome all of you who have attended tonight. Camarillo is truly one of the best places in the country to live. And I know this because I travel all over the southern part of the state, and I never hear as many people talk about their cities like people in Camarillo do. You can go out at any time, find some function, and hear people talk about how great this city is. And honestly, I just don't see that anywhere else. You know, and I also agree with Kevin about the pants salesman. Yes, the mayor is also a pants salesman, but I'll tell you, it goes a little deeper than that because you can actually go in, and while you're getting fitted for some apparel, you can put a little bug in his ear about something that you think might be good for the city. And he'll look at you and he'll smile and he'll listen, I don't know what he does after that, but at least as a citizen, where do you get that kind of opportunity? Being in government isn't easy. Any kind of government elected position is not easy. These people work hard every single day. Everybody knows it. And sometimes they don't get the credit that maybe they're entitled to. But I can honestly say that I know that these types of positions require a lot of sweat and effort and misery and happiness, like tonight. So congratulations to them. And on behalf of the Board of Directors and the Pleasant Valley Recreation and Park District, we would like to present this certificate in honor of the City of Camarillo's 50th anniversary.
Thank you, Bob.
Your Honor, was it not the 50th anniversary of the Park and Rec last year?
Yes, it was.
But they've had their 50th. They were a body before we got here. So. Let's see.
Next, we've got Gary Cushion and Samson Ghaffari from the Camarillo Chamber of Commerce. Come on down, gentlemen.
Is Jeff still here? Sorry, bud. On behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, we have a great relationship. Is this not on?
I don't think it is.
We have a great relationship with the. Is it on? Can you hear? The Selena's going down. No.
Hang on. Time out here.
The batteries.
Get out the other one and plug it in.
There's another one maybe in a drawer.
Get another one out.
Sorry, guys.
Hang on, Jeff. Hang on.
One moment, please. We'll be right back.
Well, that's it, folks. 50 is over. The battery's dead.
Yep. When you get a bunch of politicians together, we wear the battery out.
Tess, can you hear? All right. Thank you, Richard.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Was it off?
It better? Is it on?
It's
Okay.
on.
We at the Chamber have a great relationship with the city, and being in the Chamber of Commerce as a board member for the last 20 years, there's not many cities around here that I go talk to the other chambers and they have such a great relationship. We work hard together, and I think the last thing we can say is we have a trolley now because the Chamber and the university and the city got together and we did it. We're just so blessed in the city to have such a great relationship and a great council and a great staff. And it's always a pleasure to work with you guys. He wants to say something.
Time goes fast. I remember, here, can you hear me?
Now you can.
Time sure does go fast. I remember when I first came to this city, first person I met was actually Charlotte, because I was living with my in-laws at the time, and before I started a business or did anything. And it's just been such a welcoming, it comes around.
You didn't explain that.
Anybody that's interested can talk to me later. But Gary said it best. The city and the chamber really works hand in hand. I feel like I see everybody, that's sitting up here almost every day, be it a ribbon cutting or a business visit or at the university, and it's really a great partnership. So we wanted to congratulate you on your 50th anniversary.
And Stan claims that the chamber.
Oh yeah, Stan. Well, let Stan talk about it.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gary and Sampson. Really appreciate that. Okay, next we have Frank Roth, Pleasant Valley Historical Society and Museum. Go, Frank.
It is a wonderful experience to be able to be here to share our birthday as well, Pleasant Valley Historical Society's 50th as well, but we want to congratulate the city on their 50 years. The original city council did a great job in making the city #1 city in Ventura County. The only thing I can complain about is they did one thing wrong. We moved to the county in 1962, and we bought our first home just north of Las Posas. And for some reason, they left us out of the consideration of being in the city. So I can't be called a charter member. But anyway, I know when I'm 130th, or 130 years old, that we'll be celebrating your 100th birthday. And I know it'll still be #1, not only in the county, but in the world. And I think all these people that are sitting out here would agree with that. Congratulations once again. I would like to present this to you. It is a line drawing of the first city council, and our honorable Stan Daly, Mayor Emeritus, is the only one that is still living, unfortunately. But I hope you enjoy having that as much as we enjoy giving it to you.
Thank you so much, Frank. Appreciate it so much. So memorable. Thank you so much. It's great. Next, we have Grace Kelly. Is Grace here tonight? There's Grace, President of the Camarillo Ranch Foundation, Camarillo Ranch. Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much.
I am the Grace Kelly. Whereas the city of Camarillo was incorporated on October 22nd, 1964, and whereas the city of Camarillo is celebrating its 50th birthday with a series of events between October 17th and October 22nd, 2014, and whereas the Camarillo Ranch Foundation was established by the city of Camarillo in 1998, and the foundation Board of Directors held its first meeting on May 5th, 1999. And whereas the Camarillo Ranch Foundation is celebrating its 15th birthday during 2014. And whereas the city of Camarillo has been instrumental in the renovation, preservation, and maintenance of the Camarillo Ranch, the house, and the Red Barn. Whereas the Camarillo City Council has appointed all the members of the Camarillo Ranch Foundation Board of Directors since the establishment of the foundation. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Camarillo Ranch Foundation does hereby commend the City of Camarillo and the Camarillo City Council on the city's 50th birthday, thank and commend the City of Camarillo and the Camarillo City Council for their efforts to preserve and maintain the Camarillo Ranch, thus helping the ranch become a cultural and historic icon for the community, the county, and the state. Approved by the Board of Directors of the Camarillo Ranch Foundation, Keeping History Alive, on the first day of October 2014 at the Camarillo House in Camarillo, California. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much. Next, we have Jerry Olson. Jerry's here. Wow, good job, Jerry. And this one, thank you so much.
I'm Jerry Olson. I've been a resident of Camarillo for 56 years. And a week from today will be the 150th birthday of Adolfo Camarillo. I've written a book about his life, and I'm presenting 10 copies to the city tonight for their use, including City Council and Bruce and Jeffrey and the others. This has been a one-year project. I've looked at 107 different sources, and I've read 37 years of Adolfo's diaries. It's been exciting. It's been thrilling. And I wanted to share with you just a couple paragraphs on my conclusions about his life. Don Adolfo ranks as one of the outstanding citizens in the history of Ventura County in many different ways. Longevity, ranching and agriculture, white horses, community involvement, influence, traditions, and cairns. Adolfo changed Camarillo, Ventura County, and California in many different ways. One, by showing that caring for others can change the world around you. Two, by showing that new ideas and innovation can completely change a vast ranch and the community around you. And three, by showing that setting historic examples by service to others, that service can be a key part of one's life. Thus, throughout his life, he led by example. Now I'd like to take you just ahead a second to the year 50 years from now, to his 200th birthday. What will it be like in the year 2064? Hopefully there'll be children and adults coming to the Camarillo Ranch, wandering the beautiful grounds, looking at the towering trees, walking under the trees, seeing the restored house, and imagining what it would be like for the mules and the horses in the red barn, and appreciating the legacy of Adolfo Camarillo and his family. Adolfo hopefully will still be riding his white horse and looking down on the city council meetings here, and riding his bronze horse in Disdale Park. But most of all, hopefully Adolfo will be remembered as a man that we can point to with pride, someone who helped build our past and whose achievements have pointed the way to our future. Certainly he is a man with a living legacy. Thank you very much.
So much, Jerry. Let's get a little photo up here, Jerry. Oh, that's so nice of you. Jerry, let's get a photo up here first before you go.
And for those of you who don't know, Jerry was the editor of the Camarillo News when the city incorporated.
And he was a nice editor, too. Thank you.
Next, we have Douglas Tapking. There he is, Executive Director for the Area Housing Authority.
You're getting packed.
I think you've met Stephanie before. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Mayor, members of the council, I have with me tonight Commissioner Stephanie Mercer from the city of Camarillo. She's one of our board members. Norman Nagel, the chairman of the board, is also a resident, has a birthday tonight, and his family made it really clear where he was going to be. So, however, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, we wanted to also recognize your 50 years in being here. For 46 of those years, we have been partners with the Area Housing Authority in the city of Camarillo. And as an affordable housing provider, we now do some $65 million in property, over 900 families receive assistance, and about $4.8 million on an annual basis in residential assistance. It would not be possible without the participation of the City Council or the city. And we're a better place because of your participation on that basis. We have had the opportunity to work with every member of this City Council, both individually and corporately, as well as each city manager that's represented here tonight and previous council members. And without fail, that has resulted in a better place for us to live. This is a business-friendly community, and housing is where that business goes home every night to sleep. Congratulations on your 50 years. We look forward to being your partner for the next 50.
Okay, next we have Roberta Larson, Executive Director for the California Association of Sanitary Agencies. There she is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, member of the City Council, and all of you from the community who are gathered here. I think I'm the last one, maybe, so I won't take a long time, but I just want to say that in addition to all of the wonderful things that have already been said about your community is also a true steward of the Callegas watershed and a leader for the rest of the along with many of the other communities that are represented here today. And as someone who works in the environmental and water quality world, I just want to make sure that you're all aware of that as well. And you've, in addition to doing a great job of running a community that everybody wants to live in, members of this City Council have been very active participants in CASA. Councilmember Craven was a member of our board of directors for many years and our president from 2006 to 2007, and she led us through a period of very progressive and very needed change during that time. Councilmember Morgan is a frequent participant in our activities, and I can count on him to keep me on my toes and ask me a question I don't know the answer to. But on behalf of the CASA board, I just want to present you with this certificate that celebrates 50 years of service to your customers, protecting the environment and public health, with appreciation for the city's lasting contributions to CASA and to the clean water community.
Thank you very much. Okay, next we have George West. George here, the Vice President of St. John's Pleasant Valley Hospital.
Long names. Thank you, George. Thank you so much.
It is my distinct honor to be here among the members of the City Council, Mr. Mayor, and my neighbors representing St. John's Pleasant Valley Hospital as we celebrate a birthday, too. There's so many birthdays together. What a developing community. It's our 40th year and your 50th year. There is not much that can be said more than what has been said, but I'd like to read this letter of commendation from our new CEO, Darren Lee, and he meant it from his heart. St. John's Pleasant Valley Hospital hereby commends the City of Camarillo on the occasion of your 50th anniversary, this 22nd day of October, 2014. Camarillo takes pride in its unparalleled quality of life and in the many attributes of the community that have endured and been strengthened throughout all of your years. The city's commitment to balanced development, controlled growth, education, health services, public safety, and the abundance of sports and recreational activities for residents of all ages has been a continued success, and it continues to make Camarillo prosper as a community in the heart of Ventura County. He says, thank you for all that you have done for our community, and the surprise on all of this is he couldn't be here tonight because he's selling his home in Walnut Creek to move into Camarillo.
Thank you, George. Next, we have Gail Hutchinson. Cheers. Provost and Vice President for the Academic Affairs of CSU Channel Islands.
Thank you. Well, Mayor Kildee, City Council members, staff, and members of the audience, good evening. I'm honored to be here this evening on behalf of Dr. Rush, who is out of town and unable to be here. But I have the distinct honor because the City of Camarillo has served as a strong advocate for CSU Channel Islands since the opening of the university in 2002. So we too are just beginning with 12 years under our belt. And the city has actively partnered with us to provide higher education, exceptional higher education for our students. The Chamber of Commerce created a committee specifically designed to strengthen relationships between the university and the city of Camarillo. Camarillo citizens and businesses generously support the university, your university, through their time, talent, and treasures. Camarillo enthusiastically participates in the Hank Lacayo Institute for Workforce and Community Studies, where many of you provide CI students with hands-on, engaging, productive, and meaningful internship experiences. Businesses in Camarillo have actively participated in CI employment fairs, and Camarillo citizens embody lifelong learning through their participation in our Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, often known as OLLI. Finally, the Chamber annually hosts the CI Connections Luncheon and stays abreast of all things at the university in addition to sustaining a very strong relationship with us. You are an outstanding host, and with that, I enthusiastically congratulate you and offer sincere gratitude to sincere gratitude on behalf of California State University, which we honor and celebrate your 50th anniversary of the city of Camarillo. So.
Something for you too.
Thank you.
Is that it? I'll do it over here. Okay. All right, I'd like to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedules to be here tonight. I think we got everybody. Is there anybody in here that we didn't? Okay. Right now, I'm going to introduce the former council members, planning commissioners, and the executive staff departments heads. I'm going to now also all the former officials and department heads are going to be introduced, and I'm going to invite all the former council members up to the podium for comments if they choose. So first, I'm going to start with the former council members, and I'd ask if you would please stand. Stan Daly, council member, 1964, 1976, 1990 to 1998, mayor emeritus in 2003. Wonderful man. And his wife Liz is here as well. Next, we have Patricia Meredith. She was a council member from 1972 to 1976. Pat here. Next, we have Ron McConville is here. Ron, would you like to stand? And I believe Terry is here as well. Ron was a council member from 1978 to 1982. Next, we have Sandy Bush. Sandy is here. Knows. There's Sandy. Sandy was a council member from 1982 to 1990. Next, we have David Smith. He was a council member from 1988 to 1996. Then we have with us Honorable Judge William Liebman. Judge Liebman is here, a council member from 1996 to the year 2000. Now we have the former planning commissioners, and I'd ask them if they would please stand too. Jim Quam, is Jim here tonight, the planning commissioner from 1965 to 1976. There's Jim. And John Funk, he was a planning commissioner from 1974 to 78. I don't know if John made it or not. Dr. Howard Hamilton. Dr. Howard Hamilton is here with his wife. He was a planning commissioner from 1985 to 1991. Thank you. Also, Judge Honorable William Liebman was also a planning commissioner from 1991 to 1996. Thank you. Yes, I'll get to that. Thank you. Honorable Judge Roger Lund is here with us tonight. He was a planning commissioner from 1999 to 2001. Thank you. Next, this is kind of special here. We've got Charlotte Hofer from 1984 to 1987. And Charlotte is 92 years old. She couldn't attend with us tonight, but she's watching from home in Camarillo.
Everybody clap.
Everybody clap. And I'm not sure why it's another joke that I play on ex-council member Don Wunsch. I want to introduce Don Wunsch, and his wife Katie is here with us tonight. And if you would stand up, he was a council member. There he is. There's Don. A great job with us. Thank you and a planning commissioner as well. Absolutely, my planning commission appointment. So, welcome, Don. Thank you so much for your service. Okay, we've got former department heads. If they could stand, please. We've got Robert Burrow, Bob, here tonight with us. He was community development director 1977 to 2012. And with us tonight, we have John Elwell, and he's director of public services from 1989 to 1996. Maybe I missed it, sorry. And I'd like to say if all of you would please stay till the end of the meeting, I'll invite the entire group back up to the dais for a photo group. Did I forget anybody? Is there anybody here that I forgot? Larry Davis. Larry's here. Larry Davis and his wife Pam. Larry, you want to stand up, please? Current planning commissioner. Thank you for being here. Okay, with this, I'm going to ask any of the former council members if they'd like to come up to the podium and make a couple of comments, if you would, on this momentous occasion. First, Mayor Emeritus Stan Daly, would you like to make some comments, Stan?
Don't. I'd like to see.
Okay, Stan. Stan, you know the rule. This thing counts down in time, and after 3 minutes, the bottom just opens up and down you go.
I am very happy to be here tonight. 50 years ago, I never thought I'd be here tonight, to be very frank. I attended the first council meeting up there. I attended this meeting back here. And you know, it was very nice, and I enjoyed every minute up there, but it's really nice out here. Because I know what you all go through. I am very happy that all this crowd is here tonight, and they're all new people, basically, for my generation. My grandfather's two brothers came here in the 1880s and bought land along the Daily Drive and all that area. And my great uncle married Teresa Giesler. My grandfather married a Deutsch, Lenora Deutsch. Her mother was a Giesler. So my great aunt was by marriage, but she was also my cousin by blood. Thank God everyone else is here today. My progeny would end up being blithering idiots from incest.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, you all have really kept to the promise that we had, the vision that we had when we became a city. Every council has done that, and I'm so proud to be a resident of this city. I have to mention that without my wife, Liz Daly, I would be nothing. Really, I want to thank her. And special tribute goes to Jim Quam for his 12 years service on the city planning. His fingers are all over Camarillo just like mine are. So thank you very much. God bless and good speed.
Thank you so much, Stan. We're so blessed to have Stan with us here tonight. Next, Pat Meredith. Pat, would you like to make any comments at this time? Oh, wonderful. Great.
I told Bruce earlier that I wouldn't speak, but I lied.
That's good.
I just want to tell you that this evening has just been wonderful. The whole day. I mean, we started at 8:30 this morning up at the library, and then we had a wonderful tour of the city. And I want to thank you all for preparing this wonderful occasion for the community. But I do want to tell you one thing. Things have changed a lot in Camarillo since I was on the city council. And I want to tell you one of the burning issues of the day during my term of office was tumbleweeds. Maybe those of you, now I've been around this town for 51 years, and the tumbleweed, we used to have tumbleweeds here in Camarillo. Mm-hmm. And they'd blow around off Lewis Road and up against Mike Lowe's El Tecolote restaurant, and people would get very upset that thought there would be a fire and the tumbleweeds would be blowing around and people got angry. I don't remember actually the resolution of the thing. I think we left it to the property owners to kind of clean up their tumbleweeds. But, you know, things change in 40 years, and that was the, one of the more interesting issues of the day. So I just want to leave you with that. When you city council members think you're under a lot of stress and strain, you just remember tumbleweeds, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. Ron McConneville. Ron, you kind of come up and make a few comments. Wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you. When I was chairing the meeting, there was one thing I really enjoyed, and that was brevity was the order of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Sandy Bush. Sandy, would you like to make some comments? Wonderful. Welcome so much.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want you to know that I think that the founders of this country had pants salesmen in mind for jobs like this. So don't worry about being a pants salesman. You're doing just great.
Thanks.
It's fun to be here tonight, to see all of you, to see some of the people that I worked with before, and to remember some of the people that are not here that I worked with before. And when you talk about shoulders, you're talking about Dan Greeley, Tony Bowden, Tad Bowen, Tom Martin, Bill Esty. I know I'm going to forget somebody, but you know what I mean. Broad shoulders, good people, and they did a wonderful job for the city. My husband and I took a private tour of the library this morning with our friend Carol Lambert. I used 3 words for an hour and a half: incredible, wonderful, and beautiful. It's a credit to this community what you have done with that library, and it's a cornerstone for this community. I am so proud to have lived here and been part of this all. You have done a wonderful job with this community in the last 20 years. We left 20 years ago. It's nice to come back, but we're going to go back to our mountains and our trees and our wildlife. I also want you to know that today is my husband's birthday.
Wonderful.
We spent our 25th anniversary with the city of Camarillo, too. So it's nothing new for this family to do stuff with the city of Camarillo. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here tonight. I have enjoyed it very much.
Thank you, Sandy. Appreciate it. Honorable Bill Liebman. Bill, would you like to make some comments? Wonderful.
Attorney not giving comments? Now judge?
Wonderful.
Well, first of all, I have to say that, the 6 years I had on planning and the 4 years on city council were, without a doubt, some of the most rewarding times that I've had in my lifetime. And for that, I really have to thank someone who is not here that I'll always remember, and that's Ken Gose. And I will also have to thank, because that's for the Planning Commission time, the citizens of the city of Camarillo for giving me the opportunity to sit up where all of you sit. And I also want to thank the 5 of you that up to this point, you've all thanked everyone else, but I know what you do and how much time you put into. So thank you for all you've done.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. Very proud of you. Don Wunsch. Don, you want to come on? Yes, sir.
It's great to see everyone, and it's great to see everyone here in the audience as well. I think this has to be a first for me. We had a packed house, and there's no controversial issue.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time and probably the last time I'll see that. But it's great to have served with all of you, and while you could always say that we all served together for 12 years, now you have to get down to 10 years because so just some of you are at least for 10 years. So anyway, it's great. And thank you for inviting me, and thank you for inviting my wife, Katie, with me. Who knew that when we left Washington, D.C., where we met, that we would end up in Camarillo, and that's one of Katie's favorite things. She loved to see that tumbleweed coming down the street, and children walking their goats along Santa Rosa Road, and still seeing horse hitches and some riders, as a matter of fact, stopping at the market and picking up things. But you've done a great job, and I'm glad that I was a part of some of that, and it's really a pleasure, and happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Don. Next, we're going to have some comments from the current council members, and first we'll start with Vice Mayor Bill Little. Bill, do you have anything you'd like to add tonight?
Yeah, the 5 o'clock session, I talked a little bit of reminiscing the first time I saw this city, which was longer than most of you alive. It was 1954, and 3 people plus myself from a high school in Wichita, Kansas, came out to see the ocean. And we drove down the grade and into Ventura. Finally saw the ocean in Ventura. But I remember going through Camarillo. There was no freeway. You went down the Ventura Boulevard, and you went through that wonderful stand of eucalyptus trees that Adolfo Camarillo had planted along in the 101. And by the way, the grade wasn't really the grade we have today. It was more like a switchback sort of thing. But anyway, I just want to say, just to add to that story, that I'm a little different than the rest of the people here. Most of these people have lived here for many, many years. Some have been born and raised here. I came here 26 years ago, so I'm the new kid on the block. I came here because I had a job offer made by the city council at that time to be the city manager. And I won't go into the details of what prompted them to offer me the job, other than to say we had a lot of work to do to get our financial house in order at that time. And it took about 3 years to do it. But as a city manager, I had served in 4 cities before coming to Camarillo. And, frankly, I think the longest time I ever lived in one house was 12 years. But after I retired in 2000 from the city, I asked my wife, Mary, well, do you think should stay here or go someplace else or what? And she said, you have two choices. One is to stay here or move back to Wisconsin. It didn't take me very long to know where I was going to stay. And we've stayed here and never regretted it. And it will be the place where we will stay for the rest of our lives. But I've just certainly coming from that side of the table to this side, it's been a marvelous experience, and I've enjoyed working with these fine people up here for the last 2 years. Look forward to other times in the future. And so I just want to say it's the best thing that ever happened to me was to come here. And that's why I'm devoting my time, what I've got left, to making the city even better than it is today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Charlotte Craven.
Well, I want to say it's truly an honor to have been elected by the people of Camarillo, to have been able to have helped steer this city and its development for more than half of its years of incorporation. It's a very humbling thought. I want to express my deep appreciation to the people who were on the first city council. So I guess, Stan, that's you and the ones you served with. And I want to say that I think that they made some extremely smart decisions. Their first decision was to operate as a contract city, and that decision has proven to be a great benefit for the people of Camarillo, because it's made it possible to provide more services in a more economical way, and it's allowed for a lot of flexibility, which has proven to be a boon during uptimes and downtimes. They also merged with the Camarillo Sanitary District, and they took over 2 water agencies to provide utility services for the residents of the city of Camarillo at that time. And I think that showed a great deal of foresight for a brand new city council. I want to thank everybody here who's been on the Planning Commission, who's been on a staff of the city, or who's been a council member. I just have to say, I think all of you did a good job. Through all of our hard work, we've developed more plans than any of us can ever sit here and list tonight or even want to remember. But I was trying to think last night as I put my thoughts down, what's the thing I remember the most? And the thing I remember the most was the very first project that came up after I was elected. It came in July. I was elected in November, started in the city council in December. And the first project to come before us was Spanish Hills. That still is the longest public hearing I've sat through. And believe it or not, it was the most controversial. And I still haven't figured out how all those people thought that Spanish Hills was going to lower their property values.
That's true.
That's true. And I remember Sandy wanted to put little feeders out for the bunnies on the golf course. That was the only lighthearted moment of the evening. It was quite a public hearing. But together, all of us, in one way or another, have worked to get our state university here. We've worked to address youth prison issues several times. We've worked to save our military bases from BRAC, to preserve the farmland that surrounds us, to build our beautiful library, to move the police department from an outdated building with a very leaky roof to a spacious modern facility, to build a highly successful recycling program, and to bring our sewage treatment plant up to tertiary standards. Those are things that I'm very, very proud of having occurred while I've been here on the City Council. I also, and I think most of us here, have seen the city rise from the financial ashes of the late 1980s to become one of the most financially sound cities in the state, and I know Mike will tell you more about that. But we did it by finding what Bill Little told us when he got here we needed to find, which was stable, long-term sources of income. And we did that by working with the Contract Cities Organization and getting our name added to a list so that we began to get 5% of the property tax that people were already paying. That money had previously gone to the state and to the county, and we took a little bit of it. Not as much as other cities in the county, but at least we get some. And we secured the premium outlet mall so that we could start getting more sales tax. And that has really helped us a lot. The things that, other things that I'm really proud of is that we have such an extremely low crime rate. The Sheriff's Department does a marvelous job, and we have one of the lowest crime rates for a city our size, and we do it with only 0.83 sworn officers per 1,000 residents. And I think that's an extremely low number. We built the library, which has been mentioned a lot, but what hasn't been mentioned is that our new library is much more popular than the old one was with our residents. They're issuing about 1,000 new library cards a month, and about 30,000 people are going through those doors every single month. I think it's marvelous. We're also on the threshold of delivering recycled water from our sewage treatment plant to the 50-acre sports park and to nearby farmers. That's something that I know Mr. Morgan and I have wanted to do for more than 25 years when we first heard people start talking about water recycling, and at conferences for a brand new organization at that time called Water Reuse. And it was like a pipe dream because at that time we didn't have any money and we weren't going to be able to do anything. But it's a dream come true, and it's going to free up a lot of potable water that's being used to water the 50-acre sports park and potable water that's being used by the farmers. And finally, I think that we really need to stress how fortunate we are in this city to have all of the volunteers that we have. A couple of weeks ago, we had a dinner for our volunteers, an annual dinner. More than 450 people attended that volunteer appreciation dinner. It's the most we've ever had, but Camarillo is made up of many marvelous people who generously donate their time to make our city what it is. And everybody I talk to says that Camarillo is truly a superb, well-run city. And that's because of all the wonderful people who live here. And I guess that's why they chose for our city motto to be Las personas son la ciudad. The people are the city. And I'm grateful to have been part of it for so many years.
Thank you. Councilmember Jan McDonald. Jan, would you like to make a few comments tonight?
Would Mike to go first? What, me?
Would you like to make a few? Sure.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Well, first of all, Mayor Hubert, I understand now what you felt like. She just gave all my speech, so. I first of all want to thank the citizens of our community for giving me the opportunity and to serve in this capacity. It has truly been an honor, a privilege, sometimes very trying, but most of all very rewarding. You talk about the successes we have, and we have more than most cities have. You look at our library, for a great example. I always use that as my favorite example of our successes. It says so much about our community. It's a statement of our community. Just looking at it, you know what the values are in this community, and it is all about the people. And I thank you all for allowing me to sit here. I thank the people who have come before me. I have a special place in my heart for two of the original council members. Ned Chadfield was probably the person that I can say convinced me that I could do this. And I really wish he were here today because I know he would love to be a part of this. So I'm hoping he's looking down at us and is here with us tonight. And then Stan, you have been such a role model for all of us. And I personally have to thank you, because if you hadn't retired, I probably wouldn't be sitting here, because I did take your seat. So there's no way that it would have happened otherwise, probably. But you have been here for us from the beginning, and you're still with us today, guiding us, leading us. And we truly, truly thank you for that. Thank you. And everyone that's come in between, you really have, it's those shoulders we talk about standing on, and the ground that's been laid for all of us who can come along behind you and pick up and go forward. You truly have been a great inspiration for all of us. I want to thank our staff, present and past. We've had some great employees, and we have great employees today who serve this community in such a great way that sometimes you don't even know it. Things just happen out there, and the streets look great, and we don't have potholes, and the landscaping's great, and it's all because you have a community that cares. And it starts with the citizens, it translates to our employees, and of course the council members. And I just want to thank everyone that has had a part in that, and for really caring about your city. It's evident tonight from the people in this room who've come to share this with us, and I thank you all for coming and being a part of it. I look forward to many more years of working to make this community what it is today, and what it will be in the future even better. And we can all do it together. So it really is all about the citizens and working together. So thank you all, and happy anniversary to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate that. Councilmember Mike Morgan. Mike?
It's tough. It's tough when you're on the end. Because as Charlotte says, I'm probably going to say this, that, and the other. Well, I'm not, because I'm going to cut it down now that you've heard all the good things. But I'd like to say, when my father first retired from the Navy back in 1962, he'd been all over the world, everywhere, and he told our family, we're going to move to Camarillo, because Camarillo is the best place in the world to live that he's seen. Now, he shot seals in Antarctica and everything. I said, Camarillo? I thought we were going to leave. I was at Port Hueneme. At John Sharkey, where are you? You still there? I thought it was going to be Port Hueneme or Oxnard at that time, but we came to Camarillo, and I've loved it ever since. I mean, this place is the best place, like I say, in the world to live. Camarillo at that time was very small. I say it was smaller than Port Hueneme at that time. When we first elected, I wanted, one of my goals was to make this the best place in the world to live. I think we're getting close to being that. There was a survey in the paper here recently. Many of you read it. We were out of 1,700 cities across the United States. We were number 25th best place to live. And the other place in the county was Thousand Oaks, 78. So I think we're getting there. And hopefully we can still do the polishing of the city and make it the best place in the world to live. The first people to affect my political life, I got to tell a couple of stories. Number one was a teacher of mine that had a crew cut and never smiled. Never smiled. Just got out of the service. And he was going to be like the sergeant there. He's going, you ever see Stan Daly without a smile? I'll show you some pictures with a crew cut and him without a smile. And even though I was the best student, he can't deny that. Highest scoring student in his class, social studies. I had to stay after class one day because my lady who was my, what would you call that, slave day, took me as a slave, made me late to my class. And I couldn't give him enough excuses, but he still kept me back, and I got tortured on a football field for being late. That was Stan Daly, and he was a good social studies person. I learned a lot. Next was Earl Joseph. Earl Joseph was a great guy. I think anybody here, no one can say negative about Earl Joseph. Florsheim shoes were my favorite kind of shoes, and that's the only place you got to go get those shoes. I remember being elected the first time, and the newspaper, the editor, was giving me a little flack in the newspaper. So I went to ask Earl, what do you suggest? I was a young guy at that time. And he says, Mike, don't answer it back. Because I thought about answering. He says, he's got more ink than you do. So I said, hallelujah, you're right. Another one, and that's Mr. Kildee's father. I bought my Letterman's jacket at Kildee's store. And he's always there to give you some advice. I remember that too. So those are three of those who affected my early days of political life. It's not by accident that we're here where we are today. We're standing on the shoulders of a lot of city council members, planning directors, and staff that helped make Camarillo what it is. Andrew Carnegie once wrote on his tombstone, He said, I was fortunate to have surrounded myself with men who were smarter than I. I believe in that. And I think our staff is some of the best staff, and I've been here 34 years, but I think this is some of the best staff I've ever been with. And we'll compare with any city, anywhere. To give you an example, not many cities got, Mr. Huber, hate to do that, not many cities got all their redevelopment projects back. But our staff worked very hard, with council too, but worked very hard to go prove to the state of California that we did it right, and we didn't take things that weren't blighted areas and put stadiums or movie theaters or things like that on them, that we did it right. So again, we have a great staff that's made that happen. Now, we have over 800 volunteers. We had 400 something the other night, but in our city volunteers, there's over 800 in the city. Now, those volunteers aren't the only one. We've got people in Rotary, Knights, I better name them all, Knights at Columbus. Where's the Optimist there? I got to make you smile, Larry. Optimist, Kiwanis, Lions Club, better not miss Lions Club. A lot of clubs have people who are involved in the community and doing things and raising money to do things that pay for things in our community. Without our volunteers and our club members, organizational members, the Arts Council, the Fiesta that puts on the big thing, the Arts Council puts on all the concerts, if we didn't have people working in all these different positions, that's what's made us a special community, because many communities can't raise that many volunteers. So I want to thank the people of the city of Camarillo for what you've done to help us make us the way we are today. I'd also like to thank the Sheriff's Office. And that was mentioned lightly, but the people who are run by the Sheriff's Office, I'm sorry, Mr. Huber, again, but you've even expressed that, we've got a great sheriff here, that we, with Moore Park, ourselves, and Thousand Oaks, we're always coming in who's the best in the state of California, safest cities. And I think that's due to our Sheriff's Department. They really put in a lot of effort. They listen, they see what our problems are, and they make it happen. So, Sheriff, I want to thank you and your crew for doing that. Thank you. And lastly, I'd just like to thank you for allowing us to be your representatives and trying to make this the best place to live. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also, I'd like to acknowledge some current planning commissioners that are here with us tonight. Joe Hemmings. Joe, we want to stand up, please? And Wayne Boyce is here as well. Wayne? Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge some of our ex-employees, if they would all stand up too. I know John Elwell is here with us tonight. I believe Karen Elder is here tonight. If you could stand up, please. Bill Visser, I believe Bill is here. And any other past them? There's Bill. And I also want to acknowledge our current employees. Would any of the current employees, will you please stand up and let's acknowledge them for their efforts as well. Current employees, please. Come on, everybody. Don't be bashful. Stand up. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you. This concludes the formal portion of our evening's 50th anniversary and incorporation activities. However, before we adjourn, I'd like to thank all of you for celebrating with us this evening. It is all about the residents and the people of Camarillo. We have a birthday cake that's going to be served in the courtyard with a mariachi band that's been waiting very patiently for us. They'll be performing. Before we do that, I want to thank Camarillo resident Michelle Kentz for donating the birthday cake for tonight's event. Miss Kentz, let's give her a round of applause. Miss Kentz is a competition level cake decorator, so you might want to stay around and check out the cake here. And she prepared it especially for the city of Camarillo's 50th birthday. I also personally want to thank my family for being here tonight. I appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And before I adjourn, if the first photo group would stay around because we'd like to get pictures. It's former council members, planning commissioners, department heads, the city's current executive staff, if they could please come up here to the dais for a photo. After that, it'll be the second group, and we'll have those come up as well. So without any further business, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules. I really appreciate it. We shall adjourned.